Hi. Sorry, I'm just like, duh. Good morning. It's me, Alice, your guide to all things practical Reiki, coming at you live on a Tuesday morning for our Reiki talk, where we talk about Reiki. Sorry, I'm a little punchy this morning. I don't know why. Actually, my cat has gotten himself into the basement ceiling, and my girls are downstairs trying to get him out. Good morning, Gail. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are talking about, do I need my hands to do Reiki? That is the topic. Now, most people, some people, I don't know, some people probably would say, yes, of course you need your hands to do Reiki. But I challenge that. Actually, you don't. Your hands can serve a specific function, but they are not necessary to actually give a Reiki session. So we're going to talk about the function. Oh, excuse my hand, sorry. We're going to talk, I'm trying to move this so that I have like better lighting, but it's not easy. What can I tell you? So what is I trying to say? Oh yeah, so the hands have a function, okay, but they aren't the necessity for being able to give Reiki. Because if you think about it, let's ask some like kind of obvious questions. What would a person do if they did not have hands? Does that mean that person is incapable of giving Reiki? Of course not. It does not mean that. It does not mean that. I mean, that, because where does Reiki come from? It doesn't come from our hands. Now, what's interesting is some Reiki classes, not mine, not practical Reiki, but other kinds of Reiki classes might teach you that you need your hands, that Reiki's blasting out of your hands. But that is not true. The reason that I know that this is not true is because distance healing is totally possible. Distance healing works. So if you needed your hands in order to give somebody Reiki, then why would distance healing work? Our hands can't be all the way where somebody else is in another country or another city or wherever, you know. We can hover our hands over somebody and they're still receiving Reiki. In fact, a lot of my Reiki sessions in my office, where the person's laying right on my massage table, I barely touch them at all. I might touch their shoulders a little bit, but like really most of my session is done hands off. And that's not because I'm afraid of touching, but it's because it's easier for me to feel energy with my hands when I'm not touching something else. Physical sensations get in the way. You know what I mean? Physical sensations take my attention away from the sensation of the energy. And that's a really important thing to understand. So that means then I can think to myself, well, what am I doing with my hands? Am I putting energy in somebody with my hands? And the answer is no. The energy is going to them wherever they need it all the time during the Reiki session. And it might not even matter where my body is at all. I can be standing at a person's head and they could be telling me that they feel energy up in their legs because they're getting energy there. Why? Because their body is receiving energy where they need it. So, again, it's not about my hands, right? There's no miss a spot problem. You're going to miss a spot or something if you're giving Reiki and like the energy is and you walk away. The person's still going to receive the energy that they need. So, hands are not necessary for the process of giving Reiki. And I'll tell you this, I have a friend, very interesting guy. He's a very powerful energy healer. He doesn't do Reiki. He does something that's just came to him, some of his own kind of energy work, I don't know. But he does everything with his feet. And I'm not telling you that he's like sits down and puts his feet on people. He stands near the person, or by distance, he's not even near the person, intending to give Reiki to that person. He stands there and he tunes into his feet for information. Just the way my hands will tingle, and a lot of you like who practice Reiki, your hands will probably do some similar things to mine. My hands tingle in different ways, which give me different information about what's going on with the energy. His feet do that, the soles of his feet. Even when he's standing, in fact, standing is helpful to him. So he stands and tunes into his feet. His hands aren't a thing for him. So he has hands, but it works mostly for him with his feet, and that's fine. That's great. You find what works for you and you do that. That's what I believe. But what I want to go back to is Reiki and hands. So yes, I'm using my hands, but I'm not using my hands to initiate the Reiki session. I'm not using my hands to put Reiki on somebody. There's no putting. This is how Reiki is transferred. There's two things going on here. There's the initiating of the Reiki energy and the process of the person receiving it. And then there's the sensing of it by the practitioner, the observing part. Okay, these are two things. And they can happen simultaneously, of course, but they are not both necessary. Only what's necessary is intention. I hear cheering because my cat just must have gotten down from the ceiling. Yeah, Gail. So that's clairsentience. Okay, that's what you're doing. That's your intuition telling you what's going on. But that doesn't mean that is what's making it go on. Your tingles are information coming to you about the Reiki session. Okay, so there's two things happening. One is initiating the process of Reiki for the person who's receiving it. That happens by intention. Some people, I teach this, think Reiki on, like turn it on and tell it what to do. I try to keep things simple. I like it that way. I could just think Reiki and move on, but I usually think Reiki on, Reiki on, turning it on, Reiki. I'm intending for this to be a Reiki session. And then you intend what it's for. So is this a self-healing? Well, yeah, fine. But we're talking about giving Reiki to somebody else. So Reiki for my cat because he's a dork. No, because he climbed up in the ceiling in the basement. Yeah. And there he is. Okay. Reiki for my cat Pipsqueak, who's a little squirt. Climbed up in the ceiling in the basement and didn't know how to get down. So anyway, if I'm giving Reiki to Pipsqueak, the cat, by distance, and I'm thinking, okay, Reiki on, that's the first thing, then Reiki for whomever it's for, which in this case is for Pipsqueak. Reiki for Pipsqueak. And then it's not about my hands unless I want to pay attention. So I can just be like Reiki for Pipsqueak, and I could just sit quietly and tune in. However, in just kind of a kind of meditative mindset, not having to meditate, because I can think a lot of thoughts and I can look around the room and I can do things while I'm giving Reiki session and it's not a problem. But the intention to offer Reiki to the subject, that is part one, and that is the essential part. In fact, I wrote my master's thesis about intention, and the reason I did that is because I wanted to know what is the most important thing involved in energy healing in any method. So I studied a whole bunch of methods of energy healing, a lot of different things, not just Reiki, all kinds of things, quantum touch, and I studied Lashan method of psychic healing, and I studied Usui Reiki, which I already knew because I'm an Usui Reiki master as well. But other methods, I don't know. I think I wrote like 5 different methods that I studied, and whether they were Reiki or not, no matter what else any method had, they all had intention. Without intention, nothing works. So I am emphasizing again, as I have before, that intention is number one. But intention doesn't involve your hands. Intention involves your mind. Intention involves your thoughts. Okay? Our thoughts are very, very important. Our thoughts are the things that create and change our reality. Our thoughts can control our physical body, meaning if you think about feeling something and you focus on that feeling, you will have that feeling, whether it's anger, fear, or gratitude, or anything else, okay? But those are some very powerful ones. And gratitude itself has an effect on the heart rate. And that's what I worked on for my dissertation, okay? So I'm telling you, I've studied this stuff and experimented with it very, very, very many hours. So I believe that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, and I can share evidence. But anyways, we're moving beyond that right now. Do you want to go out? Okay. This is the cat that is allowed outside. Go, Smudge. Go. Go, go. Okay. Hippie is not allowed outside. In case you're wondering about my cats. All right, so intention. Okay, so intention is number one. Intention is how the Reiki gets to the other person. If you aren't using intention, you can put your hands on anybody anywhere, well, if they'll let you, and nothing will happen. They will just feel your hands. There's no Reiki happening unless you're using intention. So what are the hands for? That is the question. What's the big deal about the hands? Oh my God, I sound like Seinfeld. That's hilarious. What's the deal with airline food? Oh, what's the deal with your hands? Okay, here's what's the deal with your hands. Your hands let you observe, but you don't have to use your hands. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. For me, it's easy to use my hands. Our hands are, we're used to using our hands in life. We use our hands, we gesture with our hands, we pick things up with our hands. We reach for things. When we are babies, we are grabbing stuff. Hands are a very big part of how we learn about our environment and how we utilize, manipulate objects and so forth. Hands are huge as far as our experience. But people without hands are still capable of functioning, and they find other ways to do things. People without sight find ways to function and get along and get through the world and manage. People without hearing, people that lose a sense, they compensate in other ways. If you don't use your hands, you find a new way to connect from your mind to how you're going to observe. Hands within Reiki are a tool used to observe the Reiki energy, but they don't make it work. So when I say observe, what do I do with my hands when I'm giving a Reiki session? I scan. I move my hands around a person, and I'll explain distance in a minute, but I move my hands around a person and feel what's going on at various places while they're receiving the energy. I'm not making the energy come out of my hands to each part of the person. That's not how it's happening. They're receiving energy because I've intended Reiki for them. And now they're starting to receive the Reiki energy all over the place. All their chakras, every place they need it, all the various ways in which they need it. It's happening. My presence and my observation comes from when I put my hand over a part of their body. I am basically asking my intuition to show me what's happening here. So if my hand is over their heart chakra, I'm asking my intuition to show me the ways in which their heart chakra is receiving energy. So I can notice different things about their heart chakra, like if it's, needs replenishing, if it's blocked, if there's cords or other kinds of strange, if there's grief, what is going on in their heart chakra and what kinds of information my intuition is going to give me. That's what I'm there to be open and to receive. And I might move my hands, of course, in different places as well. Check other chakras, check out this, check out that. Do you have, that's strange, interesting. Do you have pain there? I notice that because of the way my hands are tingling. Okay, because that's what clairsentience is. And it's a way that your body, or for me, my hands especially, sometimes in my body, more likely my hands, will react based on intuitive information. And then I interpret that information through my experience and what I know and whatever, might come into my mind. And I might then use that information to talk to the person about what's going on with them in their life. Say, wow, your solar plexus chakra is really receiving a lot of energy right now. Have you been really stressed out lately? Gee, imagine that, right? Or how's your stomach? How's your digestion? Or how's your sense of confidence? Depending on, what it feels like to me I should be talking about. So my hands are my tool for observing the energy. But that doesn't mean they're the only possible tool that a person can use. This is why I'm talking about this topic. Because when you understand what your hands are doing, you also understand that hands aren't doing the Reiki, that hands are a tool for observation. Therefore, what else could be a tool for observation? Your mind can be a tool for observation. You could just sit quietly and scan with your mind. You can teach yourself how to do that through practice, trial and error, really giving it a shot. I tell you, my friend Ken uses his feet. He doesn't scan with his feet. He does it with his mind through his feet. It's quite an interesting concept. But I was going to go back and talk about, distance healing and scanning by distance, okay? So I do use my hands for distance healing, but again, it's not that I'm obviously not putting the energy on someone by distance, okay? I use my hands for scanning someone at a distance, and that's how I do it, because that was the way that I learned. That's the easiest way for me. I have hands, they are sensitive to energy, so I just use them this way. But if I learned how to do this scanning a different way, I would just use my mind. I mean, essentially we're using our minds anyways, but we're just connecting in a specific way. So when I scan a person by distance, how do I do that? I use the invisible person method. The invisible person method is to just intend that there is a little version of that person here with me. I have a brace on my wrist. I have carpal tunnel in this hand, I think, and I'm just making it feel better. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Anyway, so I imagine a little miniature version of the person before me. And I don't even need to know what they look like, okay? Or my cat, Okay, but I don't need to know what they look like in order to send them Reiki. All I need to know is that I just want to show you this. Did you see that? It's my cat, let me in. Maybe he's going to do it again. Anyway, I'll show you again. All right. He'll be back. There he is. See him? Let me in. All right, come on. This is what he does. All day, in, out, in, out. Anyway, the person has a head and they have a body. So I don't have to know what they look like, how tall they are, anything like that. I just have a mental map of a head and a body. All right, top to bottom. They can be as big or as small as I decide, because I'm the one who's paying attention to them. So it doesn't matter. Thank goodness, because I'm not that tall in a physical way. So I'm big. I'm a big person, but I'm not physically very tall. So most people that know me are surprised to see that that's the case. I'm just slightly over 5 feet tall. But because I'm a very big person, I have a big presence. And anyway, I'm back to talking about scanning. So anyway, I don't need a life-size version of the person. I don't need a life-size version of the person in order to scan them by distance, which is a great relief to me. Otherwise, I'd have to stand on a chair, and who's going to, why would I want to do that? Okay, so I imagine a little version of the person about this big, and I'm sending them Reiki already. I don't do this without intending Reiki for them and any intentions about, any extra things like to relieve anxiety or whatever it is that I know that they need. And then I'm going to just see what I can notice. So if I put my hands like this, I'm intending that I am around their head. That's what I'm saying to myself. I know where I am. Show me the energy around their head is what I'm asking my intuition to do. And my intuition does that through my clairsentience, which my hands direct. Or I guess no, my hands receive. Yes, my hands receive information. But, okay, so I scan around their head. I imagine, okay, this is their head, and I feel for anything that feels different there, and then I move down to their body, and I think, okay, where am I? I keeping track in my mind of where I am. Okay, now I'm at their throat chakra, checking out their throat. Anything different here? Anything extra tingles? Can I find their chakra? Can I feel it? I'm asking myself these things. I'm paying attention. Going down to their heart chakra, feeling for that, feeling energy go there, waiting. If it feels very strong, I wait until it starts to normalize. This is the way that I do that. And I go down and, check them through a few times and stuff like that. So this is how I do a distance healing. But let me tell you this one more time and make it clear in this other way. I don't have to scan them. I do for all my professional clients for sure, and I type up a full report of everything I notice. But if, like, my husband just says, oh, I have a headache, call me on the phone from work, oh, I have a headache, can you send me Reiki? Or I have a big meeting or something, you send me Reiki? I don't need my hands to do that. I can be like, yeah, I can send him Reiki, I can just intend Reiki on, Reiki for Evan, if I have an extra thing to relieve his headache or to increase his confidence. And I can just sit for a moment, and then I can go do the rest of my life, whatever I was doing. I can go back to my email or whatever I was doing, because I know that I have done the essential part. I have done intend and send. I have intended Reiki on, I've intended Reiki for who it is, and I've told it what to do, essentially. So that is enough. I don't need to sit and use my hands to do anything. I don't have to hold them around his head. I don't have to do that, because that part is not necessary to make the Reiki work. Okay, so now you understand, I hope you understand, that hands are not essential when it comes to Reiki. They are handy, they are helpful, but even without your hands, you could learn to scan using your mind or your feet or your elbows or whatever it is that you are going to basically tell your mind and train your mind to use as your observation tool. Your pointers. Now, Connie, you might know Connie. Connie Dohan was my business partner at the academy for several years, and she retired, but she does not scan with her hands very much. She does it with her mind, and she does it with her vision, because she's very clairvoyant. She can see energy. So she can look at somebody, and she can see the places in their energy that are off color to her, and know that those are the markers for various things. And she interprets the meaning that way. And she doesn't have to be looking at a person live directly. She can do the same by distance. By closing her eyes and intending that she's looking at the person's energy, who she's working on. She can also see other things, angels, and she's just really remarkable, right? But this is the way she does it. But what I do by using my hands is just another way of getting some of the same information. So your intuition is going to work the way that you learn how to use it, in the way that comes most easily to you. If you have hands, you're probably going to want to use your hands, but that doesn't mean that you're giving Reiki with your hands. Again, you're only observing Reiki, and your hands, or whatever, your mind, your eyes, whatever it is that actually supports your intuitive abilities the easiest, those are going to be your tools for observation. So, intention is what makes the Reiki work. Hands, elbows, feet, eyes, whatever it is that our intuition is going to connect us with the strongest, and that we're going to pay attention to the most, that's going to be the tool by which we observe the energy flow. And the act of observing the energy flow during a Reiki session, or just using our intuition at all, strengthens our intuition and helps it grow and become more useful and valuable to us in our work with ourselves and others. Wow. All right, so there it is, and I think I've said everything. Please ask me any questions at all, whether you're watching the live right now And thank you for being here. If you are, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a heart, give me a hi, something. Just to let me know that you're here and that you've enjoyed this. I hope you have. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Tim. Yay! Okay, anyway, and if you're watching the recording, you can go ahead and do that too. But please feel free to comment or ask any questions. I'm enjoying these weekly broadcasts. I hope that you're finding them valuable, useful, informative, and a nice supplement to the Practical Reiki course if you're taking it, or if you've already taken it. I hope they're a good refresher for you. That's my goal in being here, and just to connect in these times. I'd like to, let people know I'm here, I'm with you. We are together in our work here of trying to use energy and be aware and help ourselves and others. Oh, hey, Cindy, thanks for being here, and I appreciate your comment. All right, awesome. So that's it for now. I'll be back next week for sure for more Reiki talk. We have like 10 whole topics, and I think this is topic number 4 or 5 or something. So you can see the list of topics on the page. And please, feel free to invite your friends if you think that they would find this also interesting, or your family. Anyways, or ask me anything. I will reply, whether you ask me during the watching a replay, or you're asking me in real time, or you message me, or anything you want. I'm here to help. I love Reiki, and I love feeling connected and understanding things in that kind of a way. It makes life more meaningful, more fulfilling, and it kind of helps me feel like I've got, helps me understand that it helps me understand that I have a lot more control over my health and well-being and my ability to help people than I knew before I learned Reiki. So hopefully you feel the same way, but that is the root of my passion about Reiki, is that thing right there, that connection and that awareness and that power in a way, in a happy, healthy, helpful way. Sounded weird when I was like, power, ew, okay. Anyway, whatever. I'm a control freak. No, I'm just kidding. Sort of, no. Anyway, I don't know, I'm ranting. I love you. Be good. Be healthy. Be well. And stay in touch. All right? Thanks, everybody.